let's jump in and see what is going on this fine Thursday. Lifetime highs. They're those two words that make me shiver about the diamonds. The Dow Industrial ETF is at lifetime highs, blasting higher today. You know, I'm old enough to remember that I was there during the crash of 1987, and the drop that day, I think it was 504 points, something close to that. And of course, that percentage-wise, that was enormous, absolutely huge. That would be like 15,000 points today. But these days, you know, we can be up 800 or 900 points, and people just kind of, you know, chew their bubble gum and move on. And that's what we're experiencing here. We have moved up quintuple digits since the low back in April, and we're at lifetime highs, as seems to be required. And until we dare break that trend line, if it ever happens, there's nothing bearish about this chart. The industrials are just raging higher. The emerging markets are not raging higher, but they still are in their uptrend. This line here is safely intact, and we've got a series of gaps here that have been created along the way, and I'm short that one. I'm not short diamonds, thank goodness, but I'm short the EM. Although I remain relatively light. This market is so bizarre, and it's been a rough time since March 31st for any surviving bears out there. But the only way to survive in this is to stay nimble and to not get too aggressive with the risk. Although I must say, when I have failed to get aggressive with the risk, there are times that I'm just furious with myself. Like, for example, last night, before the close, I actually bought SOXS, which is a triple bearish leverage on semiconductors. And you know what? I looked at the daily chart, which is down like 99.9999%, and thought, I'm getting crazy. I shouldn't do this. So I got it at a small loss. It opened the day up like 16% because semiconductors finally cracked. So there are opportunities that do pass by because of the abject fear that this market's created amongst the one or two bears left on the entire planet. Moving on, as I said, we are starting to get some cracks in the semiconductor magnificence. The big earnings announcement last night was Broadcom, ABGO, which is down really hard, over 15%. That's, I guess, some hundreds of billions of dollars. It's a lot. Just to keep our wits about us, all it means is that we're priced now. We were priced a week ago. You know, whatever. The reason this is so shocking to people is that they expect stocks to just leap 10% a day until the end of time. And if it dares go down, that's like a big deal. So we've undone about 7 or 8 trading days of gains. Yesterday was the lifetime high on an intraday basis, and we have tumbled really hard on this one. In turn, this is echoed throughout tech and semiconductors. I made mention of being short CrowdStrike, and on Tuesday night, I guess it blasted higher, and I did not cover. And as I said yesterday, we'll see if it was dumb or not for me not to cover. It turned out to be a pretty decent decision. I did cover earlier today because their earnings are out, and they also took a tumble. Not nearly as beautiful as AVGO did, but I'll take it. And I will happily get back into again if we can seal this price gap up, or at least get really close to it. I was not thrilled by the strength that it showed following the drop. Just trying to find the, no, not the ray. I'm trying to find the appropriate tool here. I won't waste your time with that. We'll just go like bang like that. There we go. So there is the there's the price gap, which I would like to see sealed before I re-enter this thing. But anyway, took the profits on that short, and it's kind of irksome that it has been climbing back, but maybe do it again. CIEN announced this morning, and they're down really hard too, about 14%. And we'll do the same thing. Just put a little marker right there to show where the price gap's been created. Yeah, that's right. And see if it can clamber its way back to that level as well. So yeah, cracks here and there. It's nice to see, as opposed to like everything having lifetime highs every day, because earnings have been very strong, and most earnings announcements have been celebrated in recent days with explosive moves higher. So this is kind of the first time in a while that there's been anything smelling at all like disappointment. XLK, which is the tech ETF, not as well known as the cubes, but it's a pretty big one, is down a little more than 1%. The trend line has not broken. And let's just make that green to kind of emphasize how this is a supporting trend line. Maybe it'll break tomorrow. I don't know. The thing is that we have the jobs report in the morning. That will almost certainly inform bonds and maybe equities. But this is one day does not a trend break. And we've had this little dip. Feels like the first dip in weeks. It doesn't feel that way. It is. I mean, the last dip we had was way back here, which feels like a long time ago. So this is a little dip we've had, but the trend line is not broken, which is anchored, of course, to that the beginning of this quarter, really down here, March 30th. That was the bottom. Cubes, which trades very, very closely and similarly to XLK, has broken the trend line. Just the mix is different. The components are different. I've colored this red just to emphasize that failure. It's an interesting creature because we opened quite weak, way below the trend line, and been rallying all day long. We're near the day's highs, but we're still on the correct side of that trend line. So kind of an interesting phenomenon. Opened weak, climb, but still below the trend line, which is morphed from support into resistance. And in SMH particularly is down also a little more than 1%. It has not broken this trend line. Yesterday was a lifetime high, both on an intraday basis and on a closing basis. And we're trading now where we were trading at Tuesday's close. So lots of smoke and absolutely no fire at all. I made mention of this critter right here, SOXS, and I won't show you the whole chart because it was actually the data's a mess anyway. But it's basically gone from like $500,000 to 5, and that's just the nature of these highly leveraged ETFs, especially the inverted ones. And we are up a little now, a little more than 4%. And yesterday was the lifetime low, both on an intraday basis and on a closing basis. So we have we open up quite strong, as you can see, and been sinking today, but we are still in the positive for the day on this. And some individual items within the universe. We've got Micron, which is I'm short and has dipped a bit more than 5%. It looks like nothing on here because the gains have been so huge, but we do have a nice dip on that. We have UMC, which is down a little more than 3% and actually peaked last week, which is kind of extraordinary in this market. We also have AMD, Advanced Micro, which itself is also down about 3%. Again, just looking at this, it looks like nothing. It doesn't even look like worth commenting on, but we are getting some nice percentage drops on this. But in the context of this multi-100% gain, it looks like a speck. As far as Nvidia goes, which we're looking at regularly, support has held. At the lowest point today, it did not even touch this massive rectangle. So this support is holding. It will take a penetration of that rectangle to really call into question the entire semiconductor rally. Let's talk about Bitcoin some. This has been, we are approaching, getting close to the halfway point for the year. And I've got to say, this is probably the best call all year on this show. It was a doozy because we've dropped like $22,000 since I first got kind of obsessed with this. And it's been very chart friendly. It's been a really good trade. I've talked about it on a daily basis, and it's just been it's just behaved itself beautifully. We peaked back in October at almost $130,000. We got down to about 61,000 last night, less than half the value from autumn. And it has been tracing out a beautiful pattern here. And the most recent analog is these trend lines and the activity above and below it. And they're not drawn here, but the Fibonacci's also suggested just a few days ago that should this level break, it's really going to start selling. And it has done so. We also had a cute little head and shoulders top, like so. And the last 4 trading days have been particularly juicy on the downside. So I'm out completely. I have no position in this at all. Should we rally to something like in the lower 70,000s, 71,000, maybe 72,000, it would be a very exciting new opportunity on this. So I'm going to wait. BITI, the inverse ETF, has done great. Today it's up over 2%, and it's up very persistently for some weeks now. And the leveraged critter here in this SBIT is up about 4.33% today. And as you can see here too, we've got this inverted head and shoulders, and it's just gone blasting higher. MSTR is actually up decently today. It has been beaten so badly, it's even with Bitcoin down, it's up. And I expect it will continue to rally. I would expect it to exhaust itself somewhere below this little pattern here, but it would make all the sense in the world for this to rally and for Saylor to be like, oh, whew, glad that's over, and all that nonsense. So I'm just going to wait a few days on this to see what happens. Ethereum is also down. Here too, I expect it to rally to some degree to recover a portion of that drop. And its kind of strategy equivalent is BM&R, Tom Lee's company, BitMine Immersion, which itself has rallied today nicely, butting up against all that overhead supply. So crypto's been really interesting, especially since Michael Saylor also has STRC, which is the high yield, about 12+% dividend that funds all those Bitcoin purchases. And as you can see, it's taken a tumble and has broken rather dramatically its own uptrend. I missed this one. I was just looking last night at 5 and thought, wow, I should get into that. And I woke up this morning pre-market, it's like already crashing. So that was a honey of a trade. If it can rally back to the neckline, that'd be a nice one. But 5's taking a nice tumble there. Small caps, IWM, lifetime high, very strong, way above the uptrend. But as I said, tomorrow is jobs report. Keeping a close eye on bonds. Here's the ZB, which is up a little now, about 0.5%. And then TLT, which is likewise up about 0.25%, both below that big massive overhead supply. Bottom of the hour, there we go. So I'll see you on Friday to wrap up the week, and take care. Bye-bye.